How's it going, y'all? Just wanted to share with you our final Ashava kill from the Server Slam weekend, as well as what our build was on our Barbarian at that time. For those of you who remember, we were focusing on a double swing build with 100% Berserk uptime. We were able to essentially achieve that, minus a little bit of user error here and there. But unfortunately, the big thing that was really downside of this is we were not able to get any of our Berserking based legendary powers for this. So we're missing a lot for this build, but we still had a lot of good legendaries, so we were very effective in our build. Legendaries we would have liked to have had are Aspect of Berserk Fury, which is you gain Fury per second while Berserking, and since we essentially have 100% Berserking uptime, this would basically function as just permanent Fury generation for us. Aspect of Berserk Ripping, whenever you deal direct damage while Berserking, again, 100% uptime on that. Inflict a percentage of the base damage dealt as additional bleeding damage over 5 seconds. Aspect of Burning Rage, while Berserking, you deal X fire damage every second to surrounding enemies. This one's really nice in particular when it comes to mob clearing, as well as this just becomes permanent pulsing AoE damage, but it's just passive free damage for you since, again, 100% Berserking uptime. And Steadfast Berserker Aspect, up to a 35% chance to gain Fortify when you deal direct damage while Berserking. This one's nice because when you have this, you no longer need Rallying Cry for Fortify generation or really other sources of Fortify generation, as you have a very good chance in order to proc Fortify generation from the direct damage dealt while you're Berserking. So this makes your Berserking just a full utility effect for you, as well as being a damage steroid. Our first one is our helmet. We had a max life gem socketed into it, and it had the legendary power Leap creates an earthquake that deals physical damage over time in the area. While standing in the earthquakes, you gain a percentage of increased damage reduction. That's nice just to be able to have a little bit of extra damage reduction if you're able to maintain staying inside the earthquake, as Ashava does move a lot. Our chest piece, we had double max life gem socketed into it, and it had the imprint basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 5.5 seconds. This was a huge source of damage reduction for us, as with this build we are basic skill attacking very frequently with frenzy in order to maintain those frenzy stacks for the increased attack speed while berserking. Now our gloves, these fortunately had 2 ranks of double swing on them, so that made them really nice. Our legendary power on it, not ideal for us because we don't get to weapon swap too much, because our basic skill and our core skill are both dual wield weapons, so we don't get the weapon swap mechanic too frequently. But it had the swapping weapons 10 times, your next attack will overpower and deal increased percentage overpower damage. This was occasionally nice when it did go off and if it lined up with Death Blow for really big hits, but overall it was just a little extra something when it, was able to go off, but not ideal for our current build in this current situation. Our pants had double socketed maximum life, and the imprint, you gain 0.5% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 50%. This one was honestly really nice defensively because armor in Diablo 4 also contributes to non-physical damage reduction based on your armor. And so we actually were able to get to really high armor values with this because of how quickly we're attacking and how frequently we're attacking, as well as being able to just be up on Ashava non-stop. We had this stacked up frequently, and so we had a lot of damage reduction coming out from this. So ended up actually being a really nice defensive for us on our pants. Now, our boots, ideally we would want to have double evade on it just because it's nice to have that extra movement in order to be able to reposition or avoid mechanics as they pop up, but you deal with what you got. They had the imprint damaging an enemy with kick or ground stomp reset leaps cooldown. So this was really nice because we'd be able to leap after Ashava when Ashava would jump away, ground stomp, and then we would have leap back up the next time Ashava leapt away as well. So this was really nice for being able to stick to Ashava while only using one mobility skill. Now our neck, we were just using Vigo's amulet that you get from doing the main story quest. When hit while not healthy, a magic bubble is summoned around you for 7.5 seconds. While standing in the bubble, players are immune. It can only occur once every 90 seconds. I would have probably replaced this. We were really tanky in this fight, and I don't think we even procced this at any point because of how tanky we were. So ideally, this would be one of those ones that we would definitely swap out for a more offensive legendary if we were able to have it. Now, our first ring, we definitely would have gone with something else, but this one makes do. It's deal percentage increased damage for each second you stand still, up to 30%. You know, during the fight of Ashava, you get a couple moments to stand still, but for the most part, Ashava's jumping around pretty frequently and doing its big swiping arc slash that moves them all over the place. So you don't really get to make too much benefit of this, but it's nice for the times that you do get to stand still. Our second ring had the imprint Ground Stomp creates an earthquake, damaging enemies for percentage physical damage over time. While standing in an earthquake, you deal percent increased damage. So this one's separate from the leap quake that gives you damage reduction. The ground stomp one gives you increased damage dealt. So in the situation where we were able to leap onto Ashava and then ground stomp, we would have 2 earthquakes down, one giving damage reduction, the other one giving damage increase. And then that ground stomp one is also resetting our leap. So that was really nice synergy having both of these legendaries. And then for all of my accessories, I was looking to put skulls in them, but I forgot to swap out our amulet, which still had an all res gem in it, which is totally fine. Our mace, unfortunately, was our weakest weapon that we had, but we had a good imprint for it, which was basic skills, gain 46% increased attack speed. This was really nice because Frenzy already has really high attack speed, so comboing this together with it was a really nice way to just have Frenzy at max stacks very quickly all the time, as well as having really good sustained DPS when we weren't spamming double swing alternatively. All of our weapons we socketed with basic skill damage gems because at this stage we're not really able to build for other crit damage based gems or overpowered gems. Our first mace had Hoda, which was worthless to us because we weren't using Hammer of the Ancients, so dead legendary. Now, our second offhand had, after spending 100 Fury, your next weapon mastery skill deals 92% increased damage. This was really nice as we got to just incorporate some really heavy death blow hits periodically in tandem with all of our double swing usage. So this was just a nice extra burst legendary to be able to have. And then on our two-handed slashing weapon, we had critical strikes with core skills increases your attack speed by 40% for 5 seconds. This was a legendary we actually really wanted, as this allows for your double swings to become really fast and very smooth in terms of using it. It removes some of the clunky element from it, and it just makes double swing overall feel a lot better. But it also increases the attack speed of any of your other abilities as well. So your death blow animation is really fast, as well as your frenzies are light speed at that point in terms of being able to basic attack. So that was our gear and legendary powers for the fight. We'll put a link to our build with the talents in our description below. And we were just running, you know, Frenzy with Double Swing, Death Blow, Leap Slam, Rallying Cry, and Stomp. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to keep up to date with any of our ongoing videos for Diablo 4, as well as any future build guides for Diablo. We will post a full build for our Double Swing, including, you know, all the way up to like level 50 and what we are considering for Paragon board sometime before release. And then obviously, you know, some of that stuff is subject to change once we actually get into the game and see the Paragon board in action and the process of leveling it all up and how it all works together. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have a good one.